Now, while we're doing those questions though, it is possible that it's going to say math error or it's going to say doesn't intersect. So we've got to look for these two possible cases. Is it the same line, which means it's an infinite number of solutions, or is it parallel lines where it means that there's no solutions? And how do we tell? Well, if it's graphing and there's just a single line there and we've zoomed out and we can still only see one line, then it's probably just a single line, so it'd be infinite solutions. And if you can see that the lines are parallel, and you should be able to tell just by looking at the slopes of them. So if they're like both 2x, then they both have a slope of 2, then it'd be parallel and then no solutions. If they're in standard form, it's not quite so easy. You have to look what are you multiplying by. So you'd look at the 3x and you'd look at the 6x and say, oh, I'm times it by 2. And then you've got to check, are you always times it by 2? So negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, so that one's good. And then we check the last one. If we times this, do we get the same number we're supposed to do? So 8 times 2, it is 16. So actually what's happened here is this is the same line. If I multiply all this equation by 2, then I end up with this line here. So that tells us it's the same line, therefore infinite number of solutions. Now if we find the multiplier for this one, 2x times 2 is going to be 4x. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. 12 times 2 is supposed to be 24, but we get 48. So that tells you it's not the same line. That tells you this is actually parallel lines. So your answer for that question would be no solution. So anytime you get that math error, it's going to be one of those two cases, and you just have to do a little bit of inspection. Is one equation a multiple of the other? If it is, infinite, and if it's not, then we can say no solution.